Hi, I'm Miro. I'm a TNT champion.
This is Rachel Ellering, the queen of Strong Smile.
I'm Eric Bischoff.
Live event, all right? When the WWE comes on the holiday tour, when they come to Ireland.
Or Davy Boy without hair braids.
As a fan with braids, as his daughter without braids.
And you
Are watching
WrestleSlam.
WrestleSlam.
And you're watching WrestleSlam.
Okay, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of WrestleSlam. I'm joined by Phil, Elizabeth, and Joe for a massive episode. Do check us out on Twitter, WrestleSlam Podcast, aka Slam Wrestle. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, WrestleSlam2. So it's been a crazy week as always. Things are really looking up because, look, fans are back, which is incredible. Some great results for Dynamite. Impact was really cool as well. Some big returns. WWE is obviously on the way up again, which is great. Bianca Belair is back, and I should say Sasha Banks is back. So Bianca Belair, obviously, we thought there was a bit of a thing there last night where they were going to be, good friends and stuff. Sasha Banks obviously turned the whip. Heel Sasha Banks. Look, the team predicted this from day one that she was going to come back via SummerSlam and do some damage. Phil, what's your take on Sasha Banks coming back and obviously bang, turning on Bianca, at the end?
I don't want to see the match, but it's the only match they could do.
Yeah, it's obviously dumb to Bailey not being there as well, I suppose.
Yeah, there's all sort of things that they don't want to bring Becky back so quick.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I reckon a heel Sasha versus Becky is the way to do things.
Yeah, and
I think Bianca's going to lose.
You think so?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think so, yeah.
Liz, what's your take on Sasha coming back? Look, there's a lot of rumour now at the moment that Becky Lynch is definitely back SummerSlam because there's a picture floating that she got her hair done and it looks like the old Becky hair, with that kind of red streak and stuff. So look, it looks like Becky will be back at SummerSlam. But do you reckon Sasha's going to beat Bianca this SummerSlam?
To be honest, firstly, I thought Becky would be back before Sasha, so I think we were all kind of rused there, which I don't mind. I love a good old ruse, when we're a bit of misdirection. We love a bit of that. Unfortunately, I think I agree with Phil. I think Bianca might be losing, and I hate it because it's not her fault. It's just been a sequence of events, and like the non-crowd here, it really didn't help her the same way it didn't help Drew. It didn't, but like, I don't know. It's a result of the circumstances that came before it. I don't think it's really her fault, which is a super, super shame. And I'm worried that it's going to be justified by, Rolling Loud last week was a fucking, oh my God, that was a fart in mass, wasn't it? It was just like, oh my God, it was just no. And I just... Yeah, I'm worried for Bianca because I'm agreeing with it. I think she might be losing. But, if Becky Lynch come out to teach heel Sasha Banks a lesson or two after, I wouldn't be, too disappointed either.
Yeah, I think that's how they're obviously going to, obviously Bianca Belair losing the belt it's a big thing, and then I suppose Becky coming out, then everyone forgets about it, But I suppose a loss early in her career isn't too bad, given the fact, look, she is a champion now, so she's always going to have that status. It's going to be in the history books, but Bianca Belair has definitely got 3 or 4 titles in her, over the next 2-3 years. I think, she's definitely there for the future. Joe, what's your take on Sasha coming back? Look, massive crowd pop, which is, exactly what we expected. Obviously came out the whole huggy thing, and we've seen Sasha turning people in the past. Obviously, it's trademark Sasha.
Yeah, well, Sasha's a natural heel. She was never really good as a babyface. People get behind her, but as a heel, she's much better. And I've always said it: heels as champions is much more entertaining than babyfaces. The chase is way better. Whether Becky comes back and challenges Sasha, I'm not sure. Because it's a straight, do they go straight into a feud after SummerSlam? Shouldn't that be a big marquee match? Hold off till maybe Royal Rumble or something and have Becky and Sasha then. I think Becky could end up on Raw.
Yeah.
So I think they're not done with Becky and Charlotte yet. Or even Becky and Rhea would be a great feud. Building up till next year. Give her a couple of big wins. But I'm not sure what else is on SmackDown. Tony Storm is there. So Tony Storm and Sasha Banks in a feud for the title. Going on the Survivor Series might be good. But depends what they do with the draft as well. Bianca could end up on Raw and challenging for the title over there. if they move the Street Profits back to Raw, depends what they want to do.
Yeah. And like you mentioned the name Toni Storm, it's clear as daylight now that Tony's obviously getting the push that we all expected. She's really, I think Vince likes her. I think she's got that little kind of, especially that walk to the ring and stuff. There's definitely something about Toni Storm. We know she can wrestle. Mic skills and stuff are pretty decent, to be fair. It's clearly building for her to do something big down the road. Do you ever reckon they're going to introduce more titles when it comes to the women's division? Obviously, we have the tag titles and there's the main championships. But do you reckon they'll ever introduce like new belts? Like an Intercontinental belt for a lady, or something like I don't know. You have cruiserweight belts. Do you reckon that'll ever happen?
I think they should never have went with the tag team titles. I think they should have had a mid-card title. It would have been much more easier to build feuds with it. They've done nothing. Like, there's been so many tag team champions, and it's done nothing for any of them, really. Like,
now they're going to have to take them off her because she's out for a long time.
Yeah.
It looks like a year. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. But as a fan and being at a live event, because look, we've all been at live events, do you enjoy watching a women's tag match, or do you prefer the singles match?
I feel like I've been turned from it because they, as Jerry said, if they were, if they weren't going to go balls deep with it, then don't bother. Don't mind this half-assed wishy-washy shit, because it makes the fans, the people who care about it, care less. Because I'm like, if you're not invested in it, how do you expect me to be invested in it? And then they're going to say that women's wrestling doesn't attract, and it doesn't pull numbers, it doesn't pull money. And it's like, well, do you know what? If you put half of the money behind the women and the half of the promotion, half of the encouragement, the enthusiasm, the support, like compared to how the women are treated on NXT, and that'll always be seen as the inferior brand, which is just fucking madness in my eyes. Like, I just don't get it. I'm like, open your fucking eyes. No, that could be cataracts, the age of them, I don't know, but come on. I just don't get it when you think about how they're treated in NXT. They're royalty. Toni Storm, as you went earlier, she's got presence, that kind of a way. I'd love to see her feud with Bianca. I think she'd be great. And even with that, she's an ideal candidate for an Intercontinental Championship for women to move on to then the main picture. There needs to be that stepping stone of something, but just whacking the tag teams on any makeshift tag team that's there, or anyone who's available, is just cat meow.
I reckon there's more of a chance of a show than a show for women than belts.
Well, Queen of the Ring is something that's going to happen, and I'm just I'm wondering, like, with Queen of the Ring possibly around the corner next year or towards the end of the year. It's probably going to be next year, but
it's this year.
Is it going to be this year? Yeah. Are they going to introduce a new belt, or are they going to, like, we all know tag teams are great, but like you don't really see many proper tag teams anymore. Obviously, the Usos are a proper tag team, like, obviously the Iconics, to me, because look, they were always kind of a tag team, were a proper tag team. But it's when they're trying to mix two people and they don't really blend. Like Sheamus and Cesaro were a great tag team. They actually, for some reason, they really met the match, and I think they're one of the greatest of all time. But yeah, I just think tag teams are probably sometimes they're overrated. It's great seeing a good match when you have good tag teams, but sometimes you just see two tag team partners and you're like, right, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? Like Riddle and Randy Orton, I don't really like it. Look, I know there's a storyline for this down the road, but it's just something I don't like. You know what I mean? But Queen of the Ring, Phil, is that going to be before the end of the year, you reckon? You said, yeah?
Well, the final is going to be in Saudi.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so look forward to that with no atmosphere and no...
Is it just the final?
Just the final.
The semi-finals over there too, no? It's just one match?
Just one match.
That's nothing.
I know,
like tournament there.
It's stupid.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be better if we done like two semis, say next pay-per-view, like, you know what I mean? Well, not even SummerSlam. You can't really do it at SummerSlam. But if they'd done something where, I don't want to see the quarterfinals take place on Raw, quarterfinals take place on SmackDown. I'd rather see them happen all in one day,
Yeah, I know.
Survivor Series makes Survivor Series matter, because Survivor Series is a nothing pay-per-view. It has been for years. It's bragging rights.
Yeah.
Super predictable.
You get the two main champions facing each other, like, and sometimes it's a great match, like, but other than that, the 5-on-5 tournament means nothing anymore. It's just like,
it's gone out the window. Yeah, it's gone out the window.
I don't understand why they didn't keep the Queen of the Ring tournament for that. The way they did with the King of the Ring Survivor Series when The Rock turned on that time, or joined the corporation. Like that was epic. Like,
Yeah, we're still talking about it to this day. That's the days. They were the good days, you know. They were the good days. Cena's obviously back, guys. We know that since last week. Obviously, he's going to fight Roman at SummerSlam. Interesting. Obviously, look, the contract was signed and stuff. Poor old Baron Corbin, the homeless man himself, got a rude awakening in the ring. What's your thoughts on this storyline with Mr. Corbin, Phil? Do you think it's like this whole homeless thing, no money? Is it going in the right direction, or is it just bad content?
I was liking it for a while. I just didn't like the stuff last night.
Yeah.
I didn't like the stuff with Balor at all.
No.
Like, you're sacrificing Balor for what reason? You know what I mean? And he's just back as well after being out for like 2 years.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm quite happy that they segued him out of it. I love a good ruse, as I said, you know, so when he comes up and he's like, oh, I'm signing the contract. I was like, Jesus, John, oh my God. I was like, lads, I can't believe it's like fucking EastEnders. So it's fierce entertaining. But I think that I can see what Phil means, definitely, because we didn't want Finn Balor to be thrown to the slaughter. Now it would only raise Roman's money even more. Do you know what I mean? He is money, let's face it. But I like that they kind of segued him out of it and hopefully set him up for another feud. And I really hope that there's some nice continuation with the storytelling for Baron Corbin, because I think Phil's right. I think it's come to a natural end. And now John Cena last night said he needed an attitude adjustment. He got his attitude adjustment. So now he needs to come back as a happy Corbin after he's had his attitude adjustment that they filed trademark for. That's like natural progression, you know, because otherwise they're going to drag the back bollocks out of it again.
Yeah, no, I just think, as you say, look, it's more of a trend on Twitter, like, where, you know, you get the average Joe saying, I can relate to what Corbin's going through, and do you know what I mean? Is there potential for the storyline? But like, I think they really did do the bollocks. Like, I think when he beat Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, I always say it, like, got a bigger push, and obviously, look, he had money in the bank and he never got to cash it in, and look, you just don't know, you know. But it's an interesting story. I think Cena versus Roman is an interesting match, guys.
Yeah.
It's debatable who's going to win. If a title's going to be dropped, it's going to be SummerSlam.
Big E, cash in. Come on, Big E.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, I just don't know what the outcome is going to be. It's going to be an interesting one. What's your takes on the impact he's made so far, Liz? Cena coming back.
I think it's good. I think it's probably got another 1 week left of the Cena missionary position promo. I think he's got about a week left of that, and then I think we might get a few more John Cena sucks again, do you know, that kind of a way. So I think we that's going to start creeping its way back in, because we can only hustle and be loyal and have respect for so long before, you know, we kind of fall back into the whole, which he pays up to, which is brilliant, you know, that kind of way. But I think, like, the live crowds are back now. They're back, what, a good 2-3 weeks now. So it's kind of going to, you know, it is going to fall back into old patterns a little bit, which hopefully should bring, when Roman wins, I don't think that's debatable at all. When Roman wins, I think that will just, like, you know, send him into the stratosphere, and we're going to get the mix of boos and yays that Roman deserves, that a good heel should get, because we don't know what to do for them.
Can't wait for SummerSlam, to be honest. It's going to be interesting. All Elite Wrestling making the headlines as always, guys. We've seen that little segment with Darby Allin / Sting next to him, and it's done millions of views. Surely CM Punk is coming, Phil. Surely it's a done deal. Surely he's not on about Shane McMahon being the greatest, and, you know, surely Punk is coming, and Darby Allin is the man.
100%.
Yes.
It's just I thought it was going to be later, but they're going to do a match with him All Out.
And what can you see happening? So, like, you reckon the match is going to be at All Out, right? So All Out's going to take place in
Chicago, CM Punk's hometown.
But you won't reckon he won't come back prior to that. You reckon it's going to be?
He is. Yeah. No, he is. Rampage.
Yeah. And then obviously, who do you reckon he's going to face? Darby
Allin. But I think that's because he tells them who he's fighting. That's part of his contract.
Yeah. And like Darby's getting a lot of credit. I spoke to someone yesterday up in the gym, and they were telling me that they don't think Darby Allin's the full package. They think he's too small. You know, he's in over his head. I have to disagree.
Yeah.
Completely. He's really shit hot. Like, he's really the full package, in my opinion.
When he was the TNT champion, like, he was a draw. Like, they were the highest rated, segments in AEW as, that title reign went on. Like, he is obviously smaller than the average wrestler, like, but, what he lacks in size, he's got everything in personality and presence. Like he doesn't look like he doesn't look like somebody who's 5'7" and 150 pounds soaking wet. Like he always like Jeff Hardy, like that kind of presence of him, like that he'll do himself over.
Super relatable.
Yeah. Did you see that video a while back? I don't know, was it about a year and a half, 2 years ago? There was a little fan that dressed up as him. And Darby actually went looking for the fan, I think, and he found him. And
yeah, that was on a boat, I think.
Yeah, they had a great little connection, the two of them. Like, I think he looked after him and he gave him merch and he made him feel welcome. Obviously, Sting being by his side, lads. I must say, Sting looks $1 million.
Jesus Christ, lads! Honestly, he's been better.
He does look like, even next to Darby Allin, he's just standing there and he's like, he looks fucking $1 million. Like,
yeah. If you look at him now and look at him when Mania 31 when he faced Triple H when we were there. Now, I mean, it was fine, that kind of way, but of course, like, it was fun. I know it was amazing. I'm just saying about Sting's presence, like, do you know what I mean? The presence was there, but I was kind of like, I was worried about how he was moving, and then obviously he was injured in his match with Seth Rollins not long after. So, but now, like, he looks ridiculous, like so good. And as you said, he totally holds his own next to Darby Allin, but I think they're using him really, really well. It's very, very smart how they're using him, and it's not showcasing him too much, but he's still flying around the place like Darby Allin. It's madness. I'm absolutely here for it. He's just been used so well.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I must say, he looked $1 million. Like, Phil, was the segment perfectly put? The way we got that little line at the end, and you could hear the crowd reaction and stuff. Do you think it was well done and well scripted?
Yeah, it was perfect. But they also did it throughout the night. They kind of ad-libbed a few things. MJF said something as well at the end.
What that was? Do you want to
He
say?
did the pipe bomb.
Yeah. Like,
Danny, do you think that it's all just a big, I know now this is the third time I've said it, but do you all just think it's a big ruse and CM Punk ain't going to show nowhere? That it's just been like stuff that's been leaked, and I don't know. I would love if it was. I think it was hilarious because I'm getting fucking sick of hearing about it, to be honest. But I don't know. I'd love if it was a big ruse and he didn't turn up anywhere. He like signed a contract with, I don't know, fucking Dunkin' Donuts to work there for a year, glazing them.
Domino's.
I think, or Domino's.
Yeah, that's sick shit, Domino's. All that storyline is incredible. Like, and then the ad then for Domino's comes on. Get your 12-inch pizza now, and Jericho being sliced in the ring. Genius.
Nick Gage as in an advert for Domino's. I think that is hilarious and like not being funny. Let's see how old we were when we were watching. Mick Foley eating fucking thumbtacks and, good God almighty, like granted whether it was going to happen or not, how old were we watching that? So go away. Like these days, do you know what, I won't, because I'll go into a rant to last for days, so I won't.
I loved it though. If you remember when we were young teenagers watching, pay-per-view, and you have the old American ads, come to Dunkin' Donuts now and you'd see a wrestler in there. It's good that that kind of original texture is back. I liked it. I think it was genius and everyone's talking about it. I even think the segment with MJF saying, 25-year anniversary, you're going to face Juventud Guerrero. Like, when Jericho was saying, your mom and dad got horny watching me face Juventud Guerrero 25 years ago. Like, I think it's genius. I think Jericho is still the man. And obviously the finish has to be off the top rope. Clearly, Jericho still has something up his sleeve, guys.
Oh, yeah. He'll get to number 5 at least.
You reckon?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely going ahead there.
Can't wait.
It's going to be a good match. I know Juventud is still in good shape, apparently. I know he's living the life of El Paso or fucking, he's a pure gangster in every part of the world, like.
Wasn't he in AEW before they were before Dynamite when they were having just the pay-per-views like All Out or something? Didn't he?
Might have been on the All In.
All in, yeah.
But
and he was on the cruise, the Jericho cruise, a few years ago as well, as far as I know. Like he's still active, like he's still flying around. So
he's still doing the thing. Yeah, he's still a gangster. He's a proper.
The only thing is he might not show up.
That's what they said. He's not a guarantee, but apparently they've offered him a few more quiche, so he's going to come, all right, But it's going to be a good match, guys. I think 25 years on from that match they're on about in general, like it's a lot of history. The fans actually had a decent pop to it.
Yeah.
Even though half of them probably didn't know who he was. Like.
Yeah, who the fuck is that guy? But Google it and they'll know, There was a 10-man elimination tag match, which was obviously all ramped, you know, Omega, the Young Bucks, the Good Brothers, Hangman Page, Dark Order, Silver Reynolds, Uno, Grayson. The match itself was kind of interesting. What you think of it?
I like the basketball stuff. That's why we do a movie crossover, not this zombie stuff.
Yeah.
The slam dunk was pretty good when Omega was on the ropes.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah, it was very good. And then I think they're going to go up Ryan and Omega all out.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. It's definitely a match that makes sense. FTR lads, look, they're doing the thing as always. You know, great tag team. Constantly making an impact. Clearly, they're really at the top of their game. You just wonder where they're going to go in 6 months or 8 months, you know? Because there's never really days of a dominant tag team, you know what I mean? There's so many great tag teams out there.
That was a scary injury he got.
Yeah.
That was a nasty looking cut, like.
Yeah. Interesting. I know that was tweeting this morning, so obviously it was there was great concerns there. Britt Baker. Obviously, look, there's a lot happening with the women's division there. What can you see happen next? You know, who's the worthy challenger?
Surely it's Thunder Rosa. You
Yeah,
know, I think so. Surely it is.
Oh, it has to be.
You know, and to be honest with you, I think at the moment in the women's division, and it's nothing against them, it's just kind of, I think it needs a little bit more attention. It needs a little bit more. It needs somebody looking after it, to be honest. Kenny Omega's not the guy to be looking after it. I don't think he is. And we all know how I feel about the multi-champ. But it needs somebody who is 100% invested in it. And I don't think there is somebody there. So at the moment, I think she's the only one who can go toe-to-toe with Britt Baker in the ring, if I'm honest, wrestling-wise.
Why isn't one of those dark shows all women?
Yeah, there's plenty of them there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and again, I know like Jade Cargill makes an appearance now and then, but why is she not on my screen on a Wednesday?
Yeah, you're right. That's a good call. Something I always see on Twitter as well. Like,
probably too green to fight her. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Orange what?
Green.
Too green to fight her.
Yeah.
She's not ready. Cargill.
What about her?
Too green.
Oh, sorry. Ella said she needs to get a ring, and I was like, what? She get married? Sorry, take no notice. I pick.
I wonder, will Kara Hogan go to All Elite Wrestling? Because look, she's still an Impact. We're going to come to that in a second, and she was obviously in Impact this week. Talks that she's not signing a new contract.
Yeah, she put it on.
What?
She has it up on Instagram that she's after leaving.
So she's gone now. Like, so
Yeah.
obviously that was all recorded and stuff. Yeah. So like, is she on the way to All Elite? Can she make that pop, or are we going to see her go to NXT?
I don't want to be harsh, but I see her on Dark before Dynamite.
I think she won't be anywhere. I think she's going to appear up on the NWA all women's thing for Mickie James before she goes anywhere.
Yeah.
She won't be anywhere until after that's done. I don't think.
Yeah. No, completely understand. Look, there's a good relationship between her and Mickie James. Mickie James is, I think, she's a blessing for women's wrestling. I really believe that Mickie James can change the game. And I think Stephanie McMahon will take notes. I really do think Stephanie will take notes and watch Mickie across the border.
Did you see Mickie James' comments about the Evolution pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Where she was like, they're doomed to fail from the start.
They were, because they were cautious.
But even if you look at that show, it's just blacked out to all, and the entrance is crap. It's a glorified house show.
Yeah.
They put no effort into it.
Yeah, no, they haven't.
No.
Well, look,
they just like demand. You know what I mean? They were like, "Oh, we better do this," and then we hyped it up for nothing, and then just disappeared into the abyss. And
they're doing the same with Queen in the Ring.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
That should have been a pay-per-view on its own, or part of a big pay-per-view, instead of just throwing the final over to Saudi Arabia, where they don't even, they don't even get to be themselves, really. Like, if you say they're going to have to get dressed up, like, cover themselves up, and, who's going to be in the final of that? Like, Carmella, she's not going to wear a bodysuit. Like.
Just kind of sidetracked there because it's in my head now about Vince McMahon. Did you see his comments?
No, I missed it. I didn't get a look. One.
Listen to the whole call.
Yeah, listen to the whole call. It's really worth listening to.
Oh my God. It's like the captain of the Titanic. Do you know? Literally now he's like the captain of the Titanic. He's just like, everything's fine. I'm still on my boat, and like, you know, we've been hit by an iceberg, but we'll be fine. But then at the last minute, realizing like, you know, okay, we're going down, and I'm going down with the ship. I'm like, how fucking delusional can you be? Now I know it's all, you know, hearsay, and it's all like, you know, fucking bollock talk, really. But how in the name of God? I'm really hoping he's not that delusional, that he doesn't see them as a credible threat. Of course he does. Do you know what I mean? And even though, like, you know, Tony Khan bitches quite a bit, he's acknowledging the fact that, you know, there is another wrestling promotion. There are plenty of other wrestling promotions, but we know that, and not been fully, AEW has, I feel, more behind them. And I think they're, you know, when you go from here to here really, really quickly, it's really hard to maintain this. But the way they're going, it's like this. And when they eventually get here, they will stay here, and they'll happily cruise along that, coming up on that slow gradient. But now WWE are literally picking up every type of shite they can find and hoping to Christ that something sticks when they lash it against the wall. You know, because when Sasha and Becky comes back, where do we go?
Yeah.
What's left? All our surprises are out of the bag. There's no more rabbits left in the hat. So we're just going to go back to the same circle again. So I'm just like, I really hope he's joking. And your woman, the zombies were a success. Wake the fuck up, would you, child? Stop. Stop.
Why is Vince doing a lot more lately, guys? Why are they doing this documentary, Vince versus blah? And then why is he? There's something going on with Vince. Is he going to sell it, lads? There's definitely something happening.
You know.
Fucking hell. Do you know what? I will be glued to it, right? It's going to the biggest piece of glorified, you know me now, willy waving I'll ever see, and I will absolutely watch it invested with popcorn, probably book the next day off to like binge watch it. But like, I just don't know. It's like, we can't do a rags to riches on him. Do you know what I mean? So we're going to like, how he handle the steroid scandal. I'm like, stop.
How did he handle it? He stuck his foot.
There is something happening with Vince.
How did you handle it? How did you handle the steroid scandal? I don't know what you mean. Oh my God.
I'm telling you. Like the XFL, when's the XFL starting? Is that next year?
23.
Fuck no.
Is he gonna sell?
He did already.
Going to that.
The Rock has that.
Yeah, The Rock bought it. Weirdly enough, The Rock bought it. It's quite strange.
Good.
He saved
it. He's secretly behind it though.
Probably.
Yeah.
More than likely, because the whole thing went bankrupt and he had to share, so there's no, yeah.
Yeah, there's something there, like, you know what I mean? I just think Vince is going to sell. I don't know why. I don't know, is Amazon going to buy it? Is fucking Disney going to buy it? Is Tony Khan going to buy it? But I'm telling you, lads, there's something on. Why is it coming out?
Buy it.
Yeah.
Just on streaming services, the bad news that we're getting Peacock in the UK.
Well, on Twitter, a lot of people are DMing Peacock and they're saying no. They're saying it's staying on the network because people, of course, through the panic stations were like, come here, are you coming to Europe? And they were like, oh, no, it's available on the network. But I'd say they might just not be allowed to say anything yet. But could you imagine?
They're not, they haven't said they're taking over the WWE network in Europe and the UK. They just said they're going to be part of the Sky package. Like they're going to, the way Sky Q boxes have the Netflix built into it, they're going to have Peacock built into it. But you know, eventually they will take over WWE Network over here.
The problem is there's
a subscription to get it.
There's loads missing on it.
Yeah, they don't have the original content.
So if you're watching all the old Raws and suddenly you're missing like a shitload of them.
Yeah. The network is brilliant. I as you say, look, I don't watch it as much. I do have it, but like it's the network is unique. It's unique, and I think it's the library that we all need. So I don't think they should ever get rid of the network. I think, you know what I mean? It's, if anything, if they're going to obviously set it all to Peacock for the European content too, like they should really still keep the network. Even if they're charging you $5 a month, that library should be kept there for the fan. Because Peacock aren't going to have it all, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just kind of speaking on the UK and stuff, what AEW need to get a really good UK deal?
Well, I did speak to Impact recently, and I know Impact said to me there won't be any Impact UK show this year. Regardless of the liftings in England and stuff, he said next year is the year. So I think WrestleSlam on tour next year in the UK is definitely a must via Impact. Surely, I personally reckon this January, February, like book your holidays in January and February, book a couple of days off because they're going to announce some big shit for the UK when it comes to All Elite Wrestling and and Impact. I reckon they're the months that we're going to see January and February where they do come back and do, well, Impact have been in the UK, All Elite Wrestling have never been to Europe yet, so it's going to be huge.
It'll be massive.
Imagine All Elite Wrestling in the Tree Arena. And you have Jericho there, and you have, I mean, it's unique.
The one thing, it's not a criticism of AEW, but it's one thing they need more talent from the UK and Ireland and places.
Yeah.
They have some European talent, but they need
Zach Gibson Jr.
There's a lot of talent out there, the UK and Ireland, that they need to sign up. Like
Zach Gibson Jr. would be perfect.
Liverpool's number one.
Dude.
Like, they're so good and got themselves over. Like, they're so good. I love them.
Well, one thing I will say is that I know Cody has a great relationship with OTT Wrestling, so I'm sure Joe and the OTT crew, if they were to come to Tree Arena, it's an absolute motherfucking banker. You're going to see 2 or 3 main stars from OTT doing an open challenge on the night. And that's what it's good, because Cody has sense. So Cody will understand that, like, the people in the Tree Arena will understand who the OTT wrestlers are. So imagine a Seshmark coming out to do an open challenge against Britt Baker. Imagine that. And we all know
Seshmark, see that yesterday at the Carnival in UK?
Yeah. Mad
death match. Like her female death match.
Unreal.
She's a ledge.
But that, why was Valkyrie losing again this week?
I don't mind it. I mean, I kind of had the same reaction that I was like, oh, she losing again. But then I saw that there was interference with Joseph Connors, and I'm like going, do you know what? After the disappointment of her not taking the title, which we presume is down to other circumstances and situations beyond anyone's control, I like that they're still kind of building her in some type of a feud, that kind of a way, and not just like whacking her out whenever we need her, But yeah, I wasn't happy to see her lose, but I think I'm glad that they're building something with her, and I think I don't mind Ginny either. I think she's quite good, and I like her character too.
I think Aoife's not long for NXT in America. Like, she's going to get moved over.
Oh yeah, she's got that dark side about her. I think she's going to have a massive fan base as well. And look at us talking about the loss. Like, we're here, we're in shock. We're like, how the fuck she lose again? Do you know what I mean? That's telling you how highly regarded she is when they know that fans are going to say, hold on a second, Ginny's beat her. Like, we met Ginny up at OTT, and like she's been around a long time. So look, either way, it's probably a good thing. Like Valkyrie, definitely.
First match, you're not hoping getting beat straight off the bat either. Like.
Yeah, she's definitely American bound, as you said, like, and she's going to be huge. I think Becky absolutely adores her. You know what I mean? Sheamus and Balor are going to put in some serious words. So I'd say when everything's reopened and it's all normal, I reckon that we could see her at the Royal Rumble. I generally reckon she could be at the Royal Rumble in January.
They might do a World's Collide again.
Well, yeah, and that's our ticket. We've seen that work for a lot of wrestlers, like, you know what I mean? We've seen it work for, like, Jordan Devlin. That'll open massive doors for him, like.
Yeah.
So time will tell. I'm quickly going to go into Impact, guys, just before we go. Impact was interesting. There was a big return. Frankie's back, Phil. He was once Suicide, I'm correct to say. Was he the legit Suicide, yeah?
Him and Christopher Daniels kind of went back and forth for a while.
Yeah, but it was mainly Frankie, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, he's back. I didn't realise it was 7 years, apparently, was it?
Yeah. A lot of them talent around that time, AJ Styles, they were all asked to take pay cuts and they just ran.
Where the fuck was Frankie the last 7 years?
He was in all different places, like Indies, I suppose.
I just can't believe it's 7 years. I thought he was still there, to be honest.
Like, he was in WWE and they wanted him to be a Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. It's interesting.
I absolutely loved the little phone call with Francine. I thought that was really good.
Yeah. No, it was. Obviously, look, we're seeing so much happening. Omega still in the mix and Impact. Obviously, we're seeing Omega, the Good Brothers, Frankie, Sammy. There's some big matches coming up. Eddie Edwards. Clearly, Impact is still on the merge. It's still going. Like, it's.
Well, just when I speak now, there's actually a show tonight, Homecoming.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I reckon Deanna and Drama King.
You reckon?
In English, yeah.
In English, yeah.
Be interesting. There's rumours as well that Doug Williams is on the verge of going back to Impact. You see that?
Yeah, at the end of the year, I think. Once his deal is off.
Yeah, interesting. Right, guys, we're going to leave it at that. Honor as always having you all on. We'll be back next week. Don't forget, guys, do check out our interview with Bronwyn Bellingham. That's the Dynamite Kids dollar. That's up on YouTube. It dropped last night. And also, we have a big interview Monday. Myself and Liz will be on with someone special, so do stay tuned. There'll be a couple of more. As I said, look, it's Sportsman's 5th birthday this August, so I've been mad in the pipeline getting some big interviews done. I think we're going to go back to on-camera interviews as well in the near future. I think that'll be towards the end of August, September. So do stay tuned. Check us out as well on Twitter and Facebook.
Twitter, just a shout out, we had our 700th follower this week. His name was Thomas Sullivan. Woo! Not a Cork man. He's from Minnesota, but he's got a Cork name. So shout out to him for our 700 follower. So if you want to be our 800 follower, you know what to do.
Love it. And Joe, you're doing incredible work on Twitter.
Thomas Sullivan, he's now from Cork. Thomas, you're now ours because that's the most Cork name ever. So go on, Thomas.
It is indeed. It is indeed. And a happy birthday as well to Scott Steiner and the AEW boys, Sammy and Nick. Becky's going to be back soon. There's a lot more info coming next week, guys. Thank you for tuning in as always. We will catch you very soon. God bless, be safe, and enjoy WrestleSlam.
Yep. Cheers.
Bye, guys.